I'm Brian Downs, and this is Prosex Studio, the YouTube channel that will prove that it's beautiful and charming people who succeed online. Have you ever asked yourself, why do I feel this deep, aching, intractable, unspeakable self-loathing about my sexuality? If your answer was, it's because of my religion, you're right, your religion has a lot to do with it. But it's also because of our other religion, pop culture, fiction, Hollywood, Netflix, these made-up worlds that we inhabit, the fictions that we swim in and are addicted to. They're designed, and I'm pretty sure designed, to make you feel terrible about your sex life and your sexuality. How am I going to prove this, you're asking yourself? By talking about Captain America. If you're going to take on popular culture, you got to grab Mickey Mouse by the ears. In this video, we're going to be discussing the sex arc of the character of Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, his sex life as portrayed in the films. And you're going to see that the message is that good people don't. So to start out with Captain America, the first Avenger, the very first reference to Steve Rogers' sexuality, not really Captain America's, he's pre-super soldier serum here, is at 12 minutes into the film. He and Bucky go on a double date, his great friend, of course, Bucky Barnes, go on a double date with a couple of girls in the 1940s. They go to see a presentation that Howard Stark is putting on, Howard being Tony's father. Again, this is in the 1940s. Howard Stark is up on stage with a squadron of dancing girls, beautiful girls, long legs, big smiles, manes of hair. He theatrically kisses one, and then what happens next? Well, what happens is meme number one, the wanting disaster. His presentation fails. His flying car doesn't fly. I have identified 12 memes that reoccur in movies and television over and over again. 12 memes that are designed to tell you that sex is bad and you should feel ashamed. I'm going to be talking about them as they come up in the material. Meme number one is the wanting disaster. Desiring sex, attempting sex, having sex is irresponsible and proceeds a disaster. It's not always a direct causal relationship, but one follows the other. If you're interested in sex, if you show interest in sex, if you try to have sex, if you do have sex, something terrible is going to follow. In this first case, it's Howard Stark being up there with all these beautiful girls on stage, and then his presentation fails and he is humiliated. Now that's not Captain America's arc, of course, but it does open the film. Captain America's arc begins with, while he and Bucky and their two dates are watching the presentation, little puny Steve Rogers from Brooklyn tries to offer some popcorn to his date. She rejects him with a contemptuous look. Even that small act of trying to advance his social life, his sex life, by offering to share his food with his date is rejected. He should be embarrassed. The wanting disaster. Meme number one. Now the next thing that happens in the film that's relevant here is going to be about a sub-theme of the channel. This is going to be bad behavior in female characters that we would never accept in a male character. But in a female character, this behavior is presented as admirable, as proving that she is essentially feminine, as proving that she's got guts and moxie. And this happens, of course, when Agent Carter is introduced, Agent Peggy Carter, who will be Captain America's great love interest throughout the MCU. There's a scene where Captain America and some other soldiers are being recruited into the Strategic Scientific Reserve. This is the program that will be administering the super soldier serum. The new recruits show up, they're lined up, Agent Carter comes out to greet them, orient them, and one of them mouths off to Agent Carter. He's rude to her. Who is this broad? Oh, she's English. You know, he gives her the business. He's disrespectful. Agent Carter says to him, step forward, and then she belts him in the face and knocks him down. A subordinate who is under her authority, who has no right or opportunity to offer her violence in return. He can't defend himself, that's forbidden. Also, she didn't say to him, we're going to have a fight. You want to fight? Well, I'll prove you that I can take you and therefore you should respect me. No, she doesn't duel him. She sucker punches him and knocks him down. Can we imagine a scene where Bucky Barnes is bringing in the new recruits and just flattens one who mouths off? Can we imagine a scene where Captain America does that? We're not going to see that scene. That's not going to happen. But when a female character does it, it shows how tough she is. Actually, it's just bad behavior. But, as I say, that's a sub-theme. At the 30-minute mark, Steve Rogers, still pre-Super Soldier Serum, is riding in the back of a car with Agent Carter in Brooklyn, and he remarks that she is beautiful. This is obviously true. That's as clear as the fact that it's day outside. She is beautiful. That's clear to anybody with eyes. But he's instantly embarrassed for having mentioned it. He starts stuttering and flopping around. This again is meme number one, the wanting disaster. To want sex, to try to have sex, to be interested in sex, proceeds a disaster. The disaster here is that he's embarrassed. He's not trying to pick her up. He just remarks on a fact that's obvious to anyone. She replies with, "You have no idea how to talk to women, do you?" Again, meme number one, the wanting disaster is the most common. At the 48-minute mark of the first Avenger, Captain America, now post-serum, 6'2", rock-hard abs, is going out to raise war bonds and money for the war effort. This is portrayed by the film as a frivolous waste of his time, although wars are actually run on money. But anyway, the film portrays it as a frivolous waste of his time. How do we know that it's frivolous? Because he's up there on stage with a squadron of beautiful dancing girls. Right. This is meme number 4, which is serious people don't sex. People who are in positions of responsibility, who look out for others, who think about others, don't have sex lives. And notice that Captain America, a young man in his early 20s, quite fit and so on, is up there with a dozen beautiful girls, ignores them. I don't think we see him make eye contact with even one of them. Do any of those girls even get a name? Not that I'm aware of. Serious people don't sex. What he should be doing is slogging through the mud of Europe with a bunch of men, killing a bunch of other men. It's at the 1 hour 9 minute mark that a very important subplot starts to take shape. Captain America has learned that Bucky, his great friend, has been taken prisoner by Hydra and is being held in a prison camp along with many other Allied prisoners. Captain America, Peggy, Carter, and Howard Stark launch a rescue mission, right? They're flying across Europe at night to drop Captain America in to rescue them. And Stark says to Carter, "Why don't we stop by in Bern for some fondue on the way back?" Well, Captain America's a little startled by this, and he says to Carter, "Do you and he fondue?" Carter looks him right in the face and refuses to answer the question. You can't talk about sex. He's embarrassed now. He believes that Carter and Stark are in a relationship. That's meme number 1, the wanting disaster. Being interested in sex, even to this small degree, precedes a bad result. Also meme number 4, serious people don't sex. Agent Carter is a person with responsibilities, so is Captain America. They don't talk about this. It's also the sub-theme of this video and the videos in this series, which is that the bad behavior by women. He asks her a direct question, she refuses to answer it. The movie, the entire Marvel Universe, is trying to get us to support Captain America's relationship with Agent Carter. She won't answer a direct question. This is not good communication. This is not how you should conduct your own personal life. Imagine if Agent Carter said to Captain America, "Oh, is there anybody special back in Brooklyn there, Steve?" And he just stared at her. We would think he was being an idiot. We would think he was being rude. We would think that he was making a mess of his relationship with Carter. But when Carter does it, it's cute, I guess. It looks for a time like this rescue mission has failed. And so General Tommy Lee Jones is chewing out Agent Carter. General Tommy Lee Jones says to her, "I took a chance with you, Agent Carter, and now America's golden boy and a lot of other good men are dead because you had a crush." Well, in other words, your sexuality is losing us the war. This is meme number one, the wanting disaster, being interested in sex, even to the slight degree that she's been shown to have been interested in Captain America. They have never hugged. The movie, of course, is setting it up as a relationship, wants us to support it as a relationship. It isn't actually a relationship at this point. But still, meme number one, the wanting disaster. Also, meme number three, which is your problem is sex. When protagonists are interested in sex, pursue sex, like sex, or have sex, it's often presented as their character flaw. It's irresponsible, it's stupid, it's childish, it's why the Nazis win. But Agent Carter replies with, "It wasn't that. I had faith." Well, you are in fact attracted to Captain America, but she denies it because serious people don't sex, meme number 4. And she replies with the word faith, which is a religious term. So it's not about my hormones, it's about God. It's at the 1 hour 16 minute mark that the most important and interesting thing happens in the first Avenger. Captain America has returned successful, all the rescued men in tow, Bucky Barnes with him. He's punched old Hitler right in the nose and kicked Hydra in the balls. And a minor female character whom he works with grabs a hold of him at work and lays a big kiss on him. She's attracted to him. And she rather suddenly moves in and kisses him. Of course, Agent Carter walks in on this. And Agent Carter is instantly angry and furious and storms out. Now, again, I want to reiterate, Agent Carter and Captain America have never hugged. They have not kissed. They do not fuck. They have never had a conversation saying, "Hey, I want you to be my partner, my boyfriend," nothing. No, zero, zip, none. However, Captain America's in trouble here. Why? Meme number 1, the wanting disaster. Meme number 3, your problem is sex. She actually says to him, "You're like every other soldier." Yeah, you're like every other human being, or virtually every other human being. You're interested in sex? She wants to be his partner, but his interest in sex is something for her to criticize, for her to condemn, for her to turn her back on. Now remember, of course, that this is the same woman who refused to answer a direct question about her and Howard Stark. And she's going to compound that bad behavior right now because Captain America says, "Well, wait a minute, well, hey, what about you and Howard Stark? I'm confused." And she says, "You still don't know a bloody thing about women," and storms out of the room, refusing to answer that question again. She expects him to behave like her partner and to operate under the restrictions of being her partner, not having smooches with anybody else. But Captain America is not getting the benefits of being a partner. He's not getting a sex life out of this. So, meme number 4, serious people don't sex. And this is an element of meme number 4, serious people don't sex. Serious people, people with responsibilities, don't even have sex with their own, allegedly, sex partners or romantic partners. He's never so much as hugged Agent Carter. In fact, that is its own meme. Number 7, celebrating celibate marriage. Meme number 7 means that people who are in long-term romantic relationships don't have sex. Marriage especially is often presented as being virtually sexless in the movies. You don't see married couples making love, you don't see them kissing or embracing or flirting or behaving with any eroticism at all. Typically you see them taking care of their children. Of course, Carter and Captain America do not have children. But still, the movie wants us to support the idea that Captain America should behave as if he is Carter's husband by refraining relationships with anyone else. But they don't have any kind of physical relationship at all. In the very next scene, Captain America is in the weapons lab with Howard Stark, who explains that fondue is just bread and cheese. He's not in a relationship with Agent Carter. So notice that Captain America has had to go to a third party to get that question answered. Captain America picks up his vibranium shield for the very first time. It's a prototype. Agent Carter walks in. Captain America says, "What do you think of this?" Agent Carter, without so much as a word, picks up a Colt 1911 .45 caliber semi-automatic and fires it at Captain America 4 times. Bam, 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 bam. Luckily, Captain America ducks behind the shield and the prototype works. He's not injured. Returning to the sub-theme, bad behavior in female characters that would never be accepted in a male character. Agent Carter has just expressed her sexual jealousy and anger over a man with whom she is not in a relationship, whom she has never hugged. She's just expressed that sexual jealousy with gunfire. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that word. Gunfire. Gunfire. Can we imagine a scene where Captain America suddenly burned half a clip in Agent Carter's direction because of what he thinks is going on between her and Howard Stark? Would that be cute? Would that be endearing? Would that be essentially masculine? No, we would be horrified. We would expect Captain America to follow that up with something as incredible as Hail Hydra. We'd be horrified. Horrified. Does Iron Man ever fire a plasma blaster at Pepper Potts because he's angry about something? No, doesn't happen. You're not going to see a male character do it because it would be terrible behavior. You'll see no male hero behave this way. But when Agent Carter does it, it's fine. Nobody complains. It's presented as essentially feminine. It's just what women do. Does she get hauled into the CO's office to have her ass chewed off? No, she does not. Is she perhaps arrested for attempted murder? No. It's presented as cute. It shows that she's got moxie by expressing her sexual jealousy of a man whom she has never hugged with 4 large caliber pistol slugs. Now, moving to the climax of Captain America the First Avenger. Climax. 1 hour, 39 minutes into the film. The Red Skull is headed down the runway in his super bomber to lay waste to America with weapons of mass destruction. Agent Carter, General Tommy Lee Jones, Captain America are chasing him in the car. And just before Cap leaps onto that bomber to save unnumbered lives, Agent Carter says, "Wait!" and grabs him and kisses him. A little brief kiss. That's it, 1 kiss. A few minutes before that, by the way, in the fight in the final Hydra stronghold, they're racing about, fighting, shooting, killing. Agent Carter stops. Captain America stops. They look at each other. It looks like Captain America is going to lean in to kiss her. And she says, weren't you just about to do something? He goes, "Oh yeah," and runs off, which of course is meme number 4, series people don't sex. He has responsibilities to go kill Hydra agents. He has to go do that. Now, same thing. He has to run off and do this. And it's meme number 1, the wanting disaster. You had a kiss, one brief kiss with the love of his life. And now he has to go risk his life in the battle aboard the bomber and then wind up in the ice for 70 years, which will prevent him from having a sexual relationship with at least this incarnation of Agent Carter. The MCU is extremely complicated. Meme number 1, the wanting disaster. Wanting sex, attempting sex, engaging in sex, even so far as this brief kiss, is followed by a disaster. And so that leads us to the end of Captain America the First Avenger. The movie that introduces Cap as a character is basically a reiteration of meme number 1, the wanting disaster. Wanting sex, being interested in sex, trying to have any kind of sex, even a kiss, leads to something terrible. Also, of course, meme number 4, serious people don't sex. If you try to sex, then guess what, Cap? You can go eat a shit-flavored snow cone for 70 years, and the love of your life can die of old age. But this theme goes on and on and on and on and on in the MCU with Captain America and several other characters. Let's move on to the Avengers for a second. The Avengers is the big ensemble piece, obviously. The Iron Man character, Captain America, Thor brought together, Black Widow brought together in the Avengers. Cap has no sexuality in this movie. Virtually none. Whole big movie, the big epic, no sexuality for Cap. Which, by its very absence, is telling you something. Something you might be thinking is, hey, Brian, these movies are for children. A lot of the audience is obviously very young, anywhere from 6 to 15. Yes, precisely. We deliberately try to pretend to children, to young adults, that sex doesn't exist. And not only do we sublimate it and push it aside, we also tell them, hey, you think Captain America's cool? Well, you know what Captain America has got? A dry dick. And so should you. That's a message that we start pounding into the children, 7, 8 years old. Just no. Sex is bad. You should feel terrible about it. When they are at their most formative and most vulnerable. And why do we do this to children? Why do we want to hide the existence of sexuality from them? And why do we want to convince them, if we fail at hiding sexuality from them, that sexuality is shameful and stupid and foolish and evil? It's because of how we feel about our sexuality. Well, not we, not me, you. It's about that, right? We have to hand that shame on down. Now, of course, I'm not saying children ought to be having sex. 8-year-olds shouldn't have sex. 8-year-olds shouldn't be firefighters either. But we don't try to convince 8-year-olds that firefighters don't exist. And we don't try to convince 8-year-olds that being a firefighter is shameful and stupid and bad. We just tell them firefighting is something some adults do. And when you become an adult, you might become a firefighter. That'll be up to you. So why do we approach sex this way? It's a fact of life. It's something we all experience. I feel that it's in fact unethical, deeply unethical, to try to hide it from children, to say, okay, we're going to pretend this entire vast territory of the human experience isn't there. And then just fling them into that unexplored territory when they turn 18 because something magical happens to them on their birthday, I guess. We don't try to tell children that firefighters don't exist. We just tell them that's something you might do when you grow up. So I hope this video has helped you to see Captain America, America's Virgin, in a different way. If you're interested in this, then please like, subscribe, talk to your friends about it, and hang around for part 2, which will be coming soon as we finish up Captain America's sex arc. Also, in the future, there will be coming videos like this one on Black Widow and Tony Stark. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time.